Hey guys, so this week we're going to be talking about day bags, and the bag we're going to be taking a look at is the Burton Tinder Pack. And so this is a bag that I've been using for many years now. And since I've had the chance to check out so many cool new day bags that have been coming out recently, I thought it'd be cool to take a step back and look at one of the bags that I've had and used for the longest amount of time and just talk about why it still holds up so well after so many years. And so Burton has always had some really useful and stylish bags that I've been a big fan of. I really love the minimal styling that they use, a lot of the unique color combinations, and just how useful a lot of their bags tend to be. And so the Tinder Pack is one of my favorites, and I've had this for a long time. I've taken it on many different trips, and it's a bag that I've used for a lot of different scenarios. It works great for daily use. I've used it for quick trips. I love how flat it is, which makes it a really good bag for packing into a larger travel bag, as we'll talk about later in the video. And I also love that it's pretty affordable for how good of a bag it is. And so I'm really excited to share this bag with you guys. As I mentioned, it's one of the ones that I've enjoyed using the most over the year. It's held up surprisingly well, even compared to a lot of the newer daily bags that I've been using. And I think it's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a really versatile bag. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a closer look at the Burton Tinder Pack. So just starting out with the overall aesthetic of the bag, I really love the minimal styling that this bag has. It has a really just kind of classic rucksack style look. One of the first things that stood out to me when I was first looking into this bag was just all the different color combinations that are offered. It's really great how much you can personalize this to your particular style. And so this particular combination here with the yellow and the blue, as well as the gray back, just really stood out to me. I really love how well it matches up with so many of my outfits that I typically wear. But the beauty is that they have pretty much any color combination that you can want. If you prefer a more understated look, they have this in all black, they have different versions of gray, and then they have really crazy patterned versions of the bag as well. So you can really kind of pick whatever suits you the best, and I really love that flexibility. But I really love just the minimal styling of the bag. It's got a really understated look all on its own, and it fits in well in a variety of environments. It does have kind of a more outdoorsy look, in my opinion, but I really like how simple it ends up looking. There's not a lot of pockets and zippers to kind of clutter the outside of the bag, so it just keeps a pretty clean look. The bag itself is made out of a really durable feeling polyester material. As I've mentioned, I've used this bag for a long time, and it's held up in a variety of situations. I've been caught in rain with this, and it offers pretty good water resistance. I wouldn't say that the bag is fully waterproof, and as a top-loading bag, I think it does a pretty good job of keeping water out, and we'll take a closer look at the opening that it has in a little bit. At its most expanded point, the bag is about 25 liters, which is about the same size as the Boundary Supply Prima system, which we looked at a few weeks ago. And that's a little bit bigger than what I would typically want for daily use, but what I've always loved about this bag is that because it's not very rigid, it collapses down into a really small size if you're not using that full volume. And because of the adjustable straps that it has here, you can really compress this down into a very compact, slick little day pack that you can use very easily on a day-to-day basis. So I really love how slim the bag manages to stay, especially if it's not full. But I do like that because of the expandability of the straps that you have the capacity to take advantage of the full 25 liters of the main compartment if you want to use this for a quick trip or if you have to carry more than you typically do. So I really love the capacity. I really love how the bag looks as you're wearing it. As I mentioned, it doesn't stick out too much even when it's full. It hugs your back pretty well, and when you use the straps to compress it down, it can definitely get closer to a 20-liter size in my opinion. And so as I've used this over the year, I felt that this blended in very well in a variety of environments. And just because of its slim form factor, it was always very comfortable to wear no matter where I was traveling to. So moving on to the straps in the back panel, the straps on this bag are really comfortable. They have a good amount of padding. They're pretty thick. One thing is that the material that they have is not very breathable, so they do tend to build up a little bit of moisture, especially if you're wearing a little bit of extra weight. But I like how soft they are. They're still pretty comfortable. I haven't ever felt fatigue while wearing this around the city. I like how wide the straps are to prevent them from digging into your back. And it's also nice that they come with an adjustable sternum strap to help distribute that weight a little bit. The back paneling is also pretty comfortable. It has some nice padding here to help the bag feel softer on your back. It doesn't have a whole lot of elevation to provide for too much airflow. There's kind of one small channel here in the middle, but overall, as I've worn this, one thing I've noticed over the years is that it does tend to make my back really sweaty, which isn't ideal, but as I've mentioned over the years, there's not really any bag that really keeps my back too dry if I'm wearing a bag all day. But overall, it's been really comfortable to wear, and even as I've loaded this out to its fullest capacity, I've never felt any issues while wearing this for a long period of time. So continuing on with the outside of the bag, one issue that may come up with this bag is that there's not a whole lot of external organization. There's not a lot of quick access pockets on the outside. And so one thing that the bag offers to kind of help mitigate this a little bit is it has kind of these leather straps on the side. So what this is good for is for hooking things on with a carabiner or a strap. So currently what I have on here is just a very simple carabiner to kind of just showcase how you might hang something onto the bag. So I've typically used this for my water bottle. whenever I don't want to have it in the main compartment. As you notice, the bag doesn't have an external water bottle compartment, which is a little bit sad, But typically I'm able to manage it with just carabiners, and the compartment itself is so big on the inside that it hasn't really bothered me too much. But if you're somebody who likes to have a lot of organizational compartments on the outside, that may be a little bit of a problem for you. And one last thing to note with kind of these leather straps that the bag has here, even though they're leather and they feel pretty sturdy, I would be hesitant to hang something a little bit heavier on here. I do feel like they could tear, especially when it's just this one carabiner. If you happen to get a strap that can go through both of them to help distribute any pressure a little bit more, that might work a little bit better and prevent any sort of tearing. But if I would be very hesitant to hang anything too heavy on just one carabiner on one of these straps, as it is a little bit thin and I do worry that it could tear. So next up I want to talk about the laptop compartment. And so one of my favorite things about this bag is that it has a side access compartment. A huge issue that I've seen with other top loading bags such as this is that you can't access your laptop without having to undo the top and reach in to grab it. I really love being able to access it quickly and not having to fuss with the clips or the straps. So it's really nice that this side access is provided here. It has a nice, protected zipper. You can open that up, and as you can see, the laptop compartment itself is pretty spacious. It has space for at least a 15-inch laptop. As you can see, there's a good amount of space here above my laptop, so there's a few inches there if you have a bigger device. What I currently have in here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro. The compartment itself feels padded on both sides. It doesn't have any sort of felt lining to prevent from micro scratching, but it still feels well padded and like it's going to keep your device protected. One thing I really like about this compartment is that they did a good job of padding the bottom of the laptop compartment, which has been a big issue in a lot of the bags that I've looked at in the past. You're always putting your backpack down, so it's really important for the backpack to be able to protect your device from any sudden drops or from just being directly on a concrete ground or something. So I really love how much padding was added here at the bottom. Even though it's not elevated, I definitely feel like it's going to keep my device protected as I pick it up and put it down often. Moving on to the pockets of the bag. So as I mentioned earlier, the bag doesn't have a ton of organization or pockets, but the pockets that it does offer are very effective. So the only external pocket that it has is kind of this quick access compartment that's located on the flap. And I think this pocket was super well implemented. It's super spacious. It's very easy to grab whatever you need to. So this is very much a quick access compartment. And over the years, I've been really impressed with just how spacious this compartment is. It definitely holds all the items that I typically want to put in a quick access compartment such as this. So what I currently have in here is my Ray-Ban sunglasses with their case. And then I have my lightning charger for my phone. Then I have my Apple Magic Mouse as well. And then I've also included my BluePot portable power bank and Bluetooth speaker. And even with all those items in there, there's tons of leftover space. So this is a great spot for putting more dongles, maybe putting a big pair of headphones. If I was traveling, this would be a great spot to put my toiletries just so I could access it quickly. And I just really love how easy it is to get at any items you have in here as you're moving about your day-to-day. So love the space, love how easy it is to access, and I think it's really well implemented. Moving on to the main compartment, the first thing you'll notice is that the main compartment flap is secured with these two clips. And so the clips and the straps themselves feel very durable. It feels like they're going to hold up well. I really love that when you can expand this, these clips kind of offer a lot of flexibility in how you can use the bag. So I've been able to hang water bottles on here as well. Sometimes I'll hang my DOP kit if it doesn't fit inside my bag. I've hung shoes. This is also a great spot for putting something like a yoga mat or maybe even a skateboard and just hanging it and letting it lay on the actual straps. So there's a lot of versatility just with the straps themselves. And then it's also great that they allow you to expand and contract the bag. So really well implemented there. I love how they have this little band on them to help keep the straps in place. So all throughout, the bag manages to maintain a really clean look, which is really nice. And so if you unclip the straps, you're able to access the top of the bag. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a top loading bag. And what it has is this double drawstring enclosure. And this is really great for helping to keep the bag tight at the top to make sure that water doesn't come in. So when you have the flap over it, the flap itself offers a good amount of water resistance, and when you pull this drawstring really tight, it ensures that there's no corner sticking out to allow water to seep in. So as I mentioned, I've been caught in many rains with this, and I've never had any issues with my gear getting wet, so it's been really reliable. And I also think this offers a good amount of security. Because the bag is secured with both the clips and this really tight drawstring, I've never felt like somebody would be able to get into here easily without me noticing. So that's just a little bit of an added bonus. The only thing about the drawstring enclosure and the clips that I find a little bit of a pain is that it is cumbersome to get into the bag. So if you like to get into your bag quickly, or even just the top loading nature of the bag is a little bit tricky to deal with as I've started to use more clamshell bags. It's a little bit nicer to be able to lay everything out. As we go into the items that I currently have in the bag, you'll see that I kind of just have to dig in, and that it's just a pretty big, almost bucket that you have to dive in, and it's a little bit tricky to see everything at once, but at the same time, it's very effective for holding large amounts of stuff. And so loosening up the drawstring closure What you'll notice that I have in here is the same items that I've used in all my other daily bag videos. And so as I was mentioning it, what you can see here is just all the space that the bag has. It's just a really big bucket. You can't even really see down to the bottom when the bag is full. So that can be a little bit of a problem if you have smaller items that you let get down to the bottom. It can be tricky to find them. But overall, since I pack with a lot of pouches and stuff, I've never found this to be a big issue. And so currently what I have here is my power packer, which I use to hold on my dongles and cables and things like that. And then I also have my Beats Solo Wireless 2. Next up, I have my water bottle. So as I mentioned earlier, there's no external water bottle compartment, but it fits just fine in there. And then I also have the new book that I'm reading. I finally finished the other one I had in here, so excited to move on to 0 to 1. And then I have the textbook that I've been using for work. And then I also have just a folder for my receipts and papers. And then I have my Levitate portable standing desk as well. So as you can see, the bag can definitely hold a lot. That 25-liter capacity is really spacious, plenty of space. I still had some space left over for additional items if I needed to. The bag also includes an elevated slip pocket, which might be good for putting a tablet or a Kindle or something like that. The compartment itself isn't padded or lined with any felt or anything like that, but it is nice that it's elevated off the ground, and it's pretty wide, so you can put something a little bit wider in here as well, like a big folder or textbook if you needed to. Currently what I have in here is just a kind of another flatter organizer that I have with additional accessories. But the compartment itself would work really great for folders or a tablet, as I was mentioning. And then behind that, you can see the laptop compartment. You can access it not only from the side, but also from the top of this main compartment. And here you can get a better look at the actual laptop compartment. You can see just how well padded it is and how wide it comes up. So if you have a wider or thicker device, like a gaming PC, this might be a really good option to take a look at, as this laptop compartment comes out a pretty good amount. And so even though the bag doesn't have a lot of internal organization, and as I mentioned, it can be a big pain if smaller items fall to the bottom in this cavernous space to kind of find them, it is nice that the bag has one internal zippered compartment. It's a mesh compartment, which is really nice, that allows you to see, the different items that you have in here. And the compartment itself is pretty spacious, so if you have a laptop charger or additional cables or snacks or something like that, this is a really great spot to put them because you can easily access them. So currently what I have in here is just my UTech wireless charger for my phone. And then I also just have an extra USB-C to USB 3.0 cable. And so I think this compartment is really well implemented. It has a lot of space. It's bigger than you would think. And it's just a really great way to add a little bit of organization to all the chaos that could possibly result in such a big compartment. And so while we're on the topic of the main compartment, as I mentioned earlier, the bag really works quite well for quick trips. It's worked great for holding many of the items that I typically take with me for quick trips. So as you can see in the footage, what I've actually gone ahead and done is put in my larger double-sided packing cube, as I've done in some of the other videos, as well as a pair of Toms and my DOP kit. And it actually fits in there very comfortably and is able to close very well because of the way the straps are implemented. And so that's definitely enough to get me through at least 3 or 4 days of travel, maybe even a week if I'm really minimal. So I really love that the bag works well both for quick trips and for daily use as well. And so the last thing I really want to call out with this bag is just how flat it manages to get when it's empty. And so as I've gotten more into the one bag travel philosophy, I'm always on the lookout for bags that can pack down really flat to give you the opportunity to just travel with a big backpack and also be able to have a really capable day bag with you, but not have to carry both while you're traveling. And so when I got my first big travel backpack, the Tinder Pack is actually the first one that I experimented with just packing away to see if it would fit into a larger backpack because of just how kind of unrigid it is for the most part and how flat it manages to get. And I have to say I've used it on many trips so far. And it's been super effective because the bag itself is a very capable day bag. It has everything that I would need. And on top of that, it packs down super flat. So it's been one of my go-tos. And as you can see in the footage here, I've actually gone ahead and packed it into the nomadic travel bag, which is one of the bags that I use most commonly, especially for longer trips. And it fits in very comfortably with the normal packing cubes and shoes and items that I typically carry with me. So to me, this is one of my favorite combinations of things to travel with, so that I have a ton of space and organization with the nomadic travel bag to just get around. But then when I reach my destination, it's really great to be able to fit this bag in there, pull it out, and just have a really capable bag for my day-to-day. And as I mentioned earlier, if I'm going somewhere with a beach or something like that, I can easily fit towels, clothes, shoes in here, and everything that I would need for a day around any city that I'm in. And so overall, the Burton Tinder Pack still remains one of the best bags that I've used over the years. It's held up super well over many years of use and many trips, and I still think it's a great value compared to a lot of the daily bags that have come out recently. The bag itself costs anywhere between $50 and $80 on Amazon. Because there's so many different color variations of the bag, there seems to be a lot of different price points if you're looking for the bag on Amazon. And so back in the day when I first got this, I got it for about $60, but I've seen some that have gone as low as $40 and some that have gone as high as $100. So there's a pretty big range depending on which color and which reseller you happen to find if you happen to be shopping on Amazon. But at that price point, this is a really compelling alternative to similar bags that have come out in recent years, such as the Boundary Supply Prima System and the Peak Design Everyday Backpack, which are, a little bit more full-featured and may arguably have a little bit better material build. But at $200 to $300, they're much more expensive, and this is a great alternative with a similar style if you're just not looking to spend that much money. This is also a great bag to use if you're looking for something that can pack down pretty flat. If you want to try to do one bag travel but still want to carry a full-featured day bag, it compares pretty well to the Tortuga Outbreaker Day Pack that we reviewed a little while back. That one packs a little bit flatter and it's a little bit better for putting in another bag. But if that bag is not quite robust enough to serve as your daily bag, this is a nice alternative to look at. If you're not quite a fan of the top-loading style or the more minimal styling of this bag, I may also recommend taking a look at something like the OnePlus Travel Backpack, which we looked at a little while back, which is also kind of a great versatile bag that you can use for quick trips or for daily use. And if you're a big fan of Burton and you like the style of this bag, but you just need a little bit more space, another good alternative to take a look at is the Burton Annex Pack, which is slightly bigger than this, but very similar in style. But as I've mentioned several times during the video, I've been continually impressed with just how well this bag has held up over the years. Even though I've had the opportunity to test out many cool new bags that have come out, I constantly return to this one when I need something that I know is going to be reliable and really flexible in the different ways that I can use it. And at its price point, it's really just a great bag to have even as a backup. So if you're looking for a really versatile bag that's going to work well in a variety of situations and also has just a really cool minimal styling and is backed by a really good warranty, I definitely recommend you check out the Burton Tinder Pack. If you guys found this video useful, please go ahead and give us a like below, and if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and thank you guys so much.